Wake up, wake up, wake up.
That's precisely what you will be hearing and dreaming about when you're in your 60s, still waking up at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday just to work and survive. Not a very pleasant sound, isn't it? The average retirement age in the US is currently 64 years old, with men on average retiring a bit later compared to women. As of 2023, the average lifespan of an American is 78.4 years old, and this varies by gender and ethnicity. That gives the average American 14 years and some change to enjoy their life during retirement, which is less than the time you spend as an underage minor. One thing to keep in mind as well is that about 10 to 15% of Americans are expected to work until they die. Retirement age has been increasing as well and will likely continue to increase, especially as life expectancy increases and funding for senior welfare faces cuts and has faced cuts. This trend places greater financial pressure on individuals who are now expected to work longer and rely more on their own personal savings to support themselves in retirement. Realistically, most of you will be able to retire, but how early will you be able to retire, and how long can you enjoy retirement before you eventually die? You know, after learning about everything I just mentioned, I'm honestly shocked. I was not put on this earth just to work and enjoy 14 years of my life in my 60s, where I will be old and worn out. I don't know about you, but I want to retire as early as possible, or at least have the option to. So today, I'm going to share with you how I am preparing to retire before the average age of 64 years old. Number 1. Understanding your retirement goals. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine what a day in the life as a retiree looks like to you. I see myself on a tropical beach. What is that smell? A perfectly cooked medium rare ribeye steak. And then I look to my right, and it's my hot wife. Now open your eyes and come back to reality. Sad, isn't it? Reality doesn't have to be sad, and with proper planning, we can achieve our ideal retirement lifestyle, or at least one that you are content with. Now you have this vision of what retirement looks like, we could work backwards and determine how much this lifestyle would cost. I'm not a super heavy spender, and taking into account the necessities such as a mortgage payments, food, and extra money for a modest amount of travel, I estimate I would need a pre-tax income around 80 to 90K. I understand that number might seem a little bit high, however, that's mainly because I would like to stay in a city like Los Angeles. Accounting for future inflation, that will probably increase to around 110K to 120K pre-tax income. Let's just say I'm shooting for 120K pre-tax income, as aiming for more wouldn't really hurt. That would mean at a 4% guaranteed annual return I could get through bonds, I would need at least $3 million invested in bonds to sustain my retirement lifestyle. That's a lot of freaking money, and extremely hard to achieve. However, based on my current financial state and projected returns using market averages, I think this is a stretch goal I could achieve. If everything goes to plan, at my current net worth, income, and investment rate, I'm projected to retire in about 15 years with $3 million, which would mean I would be around 40 years old, retiring 24 years earlier compared to the average American. Now, 3 million is the specific number I have in mind for my personal goal. I think it is realistic, achievable, and I understand I have the discipline to make it work. Even if I don't reach 3 million in 15 years and still had to work, I'll be in a much better position than if I never had a plan at all. So using this framework, think of a yearly income that is needed to sustain your ideal retirement lifestyle. Then, work backwards to understand how much you would need invested in bonds at a 4% guaranteed annual return rate to reach that income level. With that number in mind, now you could calculate how long it would take to reach that number based on your income and your investment rates. I am only bringing up bonds because as you get older, it makes sense to take on less risk. Imagine being 64 and ready to retire, but your investment portfolio is heavily concentrated in growth stocks or even the S&P 500. If an unexpected economic shock causes the market to crash, you might not be able to recover as easily, and we don't know how long it would take the market to recover. This will delay your retirement and may even require you to go back to work full time, but you just quit your job to retire. Bonds, on the other hand, are much safer, making them a smart choice for older investors looking for guaranteed income. Going back to thinking about your investment amount, aka contributions, if that investment amount seems unrealistic and your retirement timeline is too long, number one, make adjustments to what lifestyle you think you want. Number two, increase your income and the amount you need to invest. Remember, either option will require you to make trade-offs. You may have to lower your lifestyle standards, or you may have to work more to reach that income and investment rate, which may mean that you are enjoying life less in the present. But that's something you have to figure out yourself. This is your retirement and your decision. Now, on to topic 2, retirement tools. We will start off with the most common of them all, the 401k, a retirement plan offered by employers that lets you save and invest part of your paycheck before taxes are taken out. Your paycheck contributions grow tax deferred, and you only pay taxes when you withdraw during retirement. Another great thing about this account is that many employers match a portion of your contributions. My employer provides a 4% match, meaning for every $100 I invest, they invest another $4 on top of that. Essentially, free money. Keep in mind that you usually would need to contribute a minimum percentage of your paycheck to incur this match, typically 4 to 5%. Remember, this is a tax-deferred account, so it means that your contributions also reduce your taxable income. As of 2025, the contribution limits are $23,500. Let's just say that you max out your 401k, meaning that you contribute the full $23,500, and your yearly salary is $80K. That would mean you're only taxed on $56,500. Meaning your net income will increase and potentially dropping you into a lower tax bracket depending on your current income. Here are two pictures comparing net income of someone who maxed out versus someone who did not contribute to their 401k at all. This is based off of a salary of $80K, and you can see there's over a $6K difference in net income, aka income after taxes. Now onto another popular employer-sponsored retirement account, the Roth 401k. This is similar to the conventional 401k, however, the big difference is that you contribute your after-tax dollars, which means when you decide to withdraw your money at the retirement age, which is 59.5, you will not be taxed on your withdrawals, potentially leading to more income during retirement. You may have read online to diversify your contributions to both the conventional and Roth 401k. I personally think this is a blunder for the average person. This is because for the vast majority of people, they will not have an income or a high income during retirement, meaning that they would naturally be in a lower tax bracket already. Only in the rare case that you anticipate that you will own your own business or have investments that will bring in a lot of money, a Roth 401k will become beneficial. Let's take a look at the $80K salary example. Since you are contributing after-tax money, that means that you will not be benefiting from any tax breaks. Your income is basically taxed as you have never contributed in the first place, which would mean to contribute to your retirement account, you would have to contribute out of the $61,500 that you receive for your take-home pay. And if you were to max out your Roth 401k, you would have less money in your pocket compared to maxing out using the conventional 401k. Looking at the 2026 federal tax brackets, any dollar made between $50,401 through $105,700, you are taxed 22%. If you are making $80K, you are paying 22% on $29,600. And if you were to max out your contributions of $23,500 using the conventional 401k, you would only be paying 22% on $6,100. You are essentially earning 22% returns on that $23,500 plus any growth you accrued in the retirement fund. One thing to keep in mind is the time value of money. Because of inflation, a dollar now is worth more than what it will be in the future, so generally, having more money now is better. Remember, this account is only beneficial for a small and specific group of people. Keep in mind as well, for both of these employer-sponsored retirement accounts, you generally can't withdraw funds before the age of 59.5 without a penalty. However, for special cases like hardship or medical expenses, you may be able to draw without any penalty. Moving on to a popular individual investment account, the Roth IRA. As an individual investment account, this means that you would have to manage it yourself, and you would also have more control as to what you want to invest in. May this be individual stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, commodities, or whatever you like. This is a very strong tool, as any gains from trades or dividends are not taxed, and if you are strong at managing your positions, you could potentially outperform other funds in the stock market. Another great benefit of this account is that you could also withdraw your contributions and use it for any purchases you would like. A common reason to withdraw your contributions is to use it as a down payment for a home. However, once you withdraw those contributions from the account, you will no longer be able to deposit it back into account and have it grow tax-free. Keep in mind, it does have some limitations. Looking at this graph for the Roth IRA 2026, based on your filing status, you may not be able to contribute fully or even open an account if your income hits a certain threshold. If you are 50 years old or older, you can contribute $8,600, which is $1,100 more than anyone under 50 years old. However, to contribute, you must have earned income, which includes wages, salaries, tips, self-employment, commissions, or bonuses. Moving on to strategy. Perhaps you're just starting out and you have no clue what to do or what to buy. Here's a quick, easy strategy that would generate you a 7% return for your Roth IRA. Robinhood currently provides a 3% match on all your contributions. This is an easy 3% return. If you use those funds to buy SGov, which is an ETF that tracks short-term bonds, you can generate another 4% that is guaranteed. Looking here, you can see that the current yield is 4.2%. However, keep in mind these returns are subject to change as Fed policy or Robinhood policy changes. There are a few more retirement accounts for business owners and government employees, but I won't speak about them in this video as they are not as common and work similarly as other retirement accounts with their own added benefits. Okay guys, we made it to the last step, setting up your account. The most important thing you could do after watching this video is actually opening up a retirement account, either with your employer or through a brokerage, which is necessary for your Roth IRA. Since the 401ks and Roth IRAs are different accounts, you can open up both actually if you would like to. For my 401k, my employer was already partnered with an asset management company. All I had to do was to enroll and choose a contribution percentage I was comfortable with. If you are unsure of what to do, just contact someone from HR. I'm sure they could help you out. For my Roth IRA, I personally use Robinhood. As I mentioned earlier, they provide a match with Robinhood Gold as well as a match if you transfer your Roth from a different brokerage. This is just extra money. If you still are unsure of what brokerage to use for your Roth IRA, it's literally okay. Any popular one will just be fine. They all pretty much do the same thing. Now with your account set up, you can follow my guarantee strategy that I mentioned earlier or just do your own due diligence. Lastly, remember everyone, compound interest is your friend and inflation is also compound interest, but just the opposite way, and it's not your friend. All my homies hate inflation. Every day your money is sitting around, it is losing value. Prices will continue to increase whether you like it or not, so best be prepared. But the big idea is to not start a few years down the line when you feel like it's time. You need to start now. Once you gain more experience and comfort, you can modify the strategies I mentioned to better suit your needs, or even do your own strategy. Of course, if you currently don't have a job or a source of income, that takes precedence. And I will actually share with you on how to get a job in a future video. Keep your eyes peeled for that video. Good luck and take care.